An update on the status of a 1901 Lycamobile. This is the rebuild of that vehicle. In 2012, it was in a severe accident. It was rear-ended, and the car was totally destroyed. And this is the process of it getting rebuilt. The new frame was fabricated. I had to build a new frame for the car. The frame was so badly bent, the axles were bent. The car is really totally destroyed. So I went through a lengthy process in 2013 to straighten things out, make new parts. A new frame was built. The axles were straightened. They were pressed out in the 50-ton press. So everything was straightened out, and a new frame was fabricated. And while the frame was being fabricated, I decided that I was going to stretch the car 20 inches. The initial car was a 2-passenger car, and it was decided that I would make it a 4-passenger car. The original locomobile that was built in 1901 was available as a 2 or 4-passenger car, and to me the 4-passenger car was more practical than the 2. So the car was stretched 20 inches. Basically it was cut not equally in half, but cut just behind the driver's seat. Let me move in on that, and right here it was cut. And it was pulled back 20 inches. It was aligned. New tubing was put in place, 1x2 square tubing, was sleeved in. It was accurately positioned and welded, and a second tube was added to give strength to the longer vehicle. And also the intermediate frame was added. That's that section right in here, which I'm showing you. And that was done to do two things: to accommodate the in-out box that was designed and built by me, and also strengthen the car and give it rigidity. The original locomobile was, the engine was located in the rear with the boiler. The engine was back here, but I decided that in this case the configuration was such that I kept the engine up front. It just made it easier for valving, and then have the boiler in the back. And this way it would accommodate the in-out box. The engine is an original 1901 Mason engine, Type 2, which is an all ball bearing engine. I made some changes to the engine. I put valving in, which you see right there. Those are cylinder drain valves, so you don't have to jack up the rear wheel upon starting the car when the car is cold. You could just open the valves and open the throttle up a little bit, and the water would drain out of the cylinders. So that was done to make it more drivable, because in the past you had to jack up a rear wheel to do that. Some of the other things that were done to the car was the water tanks were increased in size. The tanks originally were a total of 10 gallons or 5 gallons per tank. And in this case, since the tanks were increased, the tanks went to 13 gallons each. The original tanks were steel. The new tanks are stainless steel, so therefore no rust will occur. They got longer, they got deeper, the width stayed the same. They extend a little bit further down the side of the body, but that will be covered by the body panels. Springs were changed from the original car. The springs had to be heavier since the car is now heavier. And I picked up the springs out in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I picked them up from Amish Buggy Shop. They had all the specs I wanted, so new springs were acquired. The old springs were also severely bent. So these are the new springs for the front, and the same goes for the rear. The rear springs, I added an extra leaf on top and bottom anyway, in addition to the springs were being heavier. I just knew that I didn't want to have a problem with the vehicle. So new springs were added. We'll talk about the in-out box. I'm going to keep this video down to about 5 minutes, and then I'll be shooting another one. So there'll be a series of 5-minute videos. Just makes it easier to upload to YouTube, and I don't lose content as the video is shot. So we're going to go to the next video.